I think it was obvious to everybody that he was a target, and because of what was happening in the country, that he was not safe. But as people who know him, he was very frank and outspoken and direct in all matters, right? Not just matters of corruption and bad behavior, but in all matters. So he actually did what he believed was his job to do, to expose what was happening in the country at the time.
Bonita Harris is the partner of murdered activist and journalist Ronald Waddle. Harris, speaking with Nightly News exclusively, said that she wants the persons who ordered that Waddle be taken out be brought to justice.
That it's not just the shooter, but is the persons behind the shooter, what they call the intellectual authors of the decision to take him out. And therefore, those are persons, I think, who are behind the assassination, and those are persons that need also to be brought to justice.
She explained why she thinks that Waddle was a threat to the then Barjag administration, pointing out that Waddle never expressed to her fears for his life.
Well, as you know, he was a journalist, and he was responsible for, you remember during that period, there were many young African men who were killed or were turning up, having disappeared, and bodies were being found. And part of what he was doing was to conscientize the media that this was not normal, this was not acceptable. So a lot of his work had to do with bringing some light to these slew of killings that had been happening in the country. He had a TV show that he was very active and activist about, and I suspect that this was very uncomfortable for people in power at the time.
Former Death Squad member Sean Hines revealed to Nightly News what he knows of Waddle's murder. Interestingly enough, the story told by Hines matches what Harris told Nightly News her mother witnessed on that dreaded night.
And she was also killed on my birthday. So she was actually at her bedroom window, seeing him leave. And she actually saw a bright flash coming from the direction of the seawall, and she heard the gunshots, and she knew that Ronald had been killed.
She said she knew someday that which was hidden in the dark regarding Waddle's death would have come to light, adding that she can't find a reason why anyone would have wanted to kill Waddle.
He was good and decent and loving, and he looked after a lot of people. In fact, even now, people come up to me and tell me, you know what Mr. Waddle did for me? And I know a lot of persons, I know that in our country, when people of African background defend other people of African background, this is considered racist. Right? But he had friends and people across the racial, the gamut of races. He was just an extremely decent and caring person, and put up he was very strong against injustice and bad behavior, generally speaking.
Harris, like many others, is waiting to see the outcome of the revelations made by Hines and if the police officers, whether serving or retired, will be prosecuted for this crime.